All right, I'm going to get started and dive right back in, guys, where I left off. So thank you so much. If you were able to pop back on this, obviously I created way too much stuff for tonight. So what do I say? So moving on. So lo and behold, guys, phase one contains a lot of stuff, doesn't it? But that's the thing. You got to remain in this constant state of the basics, right? So what do I say to people? Well, think of like a lasagna. You want to layer the conversation, not vomiting a casserole all over somebody. So think of what we offer. We offer fitness, we offer nutrition, we offer support. So as you're having a conversation with somebody and catching up, if you feel like they're lacking support in their life, or they've been working out for so long, they've been eating right, and they're doing everything they can, but they just can't figure out what's missing, well, maybe it's the support aspect, right? Maybe they are just having a really hard time figuring out what workout to do, right? They're not feeling good about their body lately. So maybe the fitness and the nutrition, but you figure out what those things that we have to offer. You don't have to spew out a big novel about what a challenge group is. You can just say, I want to tell you all the details, but figure out which solution, whether it's the fitness layer, the nutrition layer, or the support layer, that you can kind of talk through first, get their interest built, and then maybe take the conversation off of social media. Okay? Building trust, building interest, and becoming predictable are super important. And so just check this graphic out really quick, guys. Consistency shows you are treating this like a real business and you won't leave people hanging. It took me almost a year for people to build trust in what I was doing with Run to Your Happy Place and just everything, because it wasn't like what I was doing before. All of a sudden, if you've made some giant leap in your life and some big change, and you're all of a sudden like all about this thing, people are going to be skeptical. And so the only way you can build that trust, guys, is by showing up every single day. You are doing yourself and your business a disservice when you come and go, right? And so if you're like really into it because you're in a maybe a training group right now, and the training group is pushing you to post more often than you're normally posting, and then the training group finishes and you stop posting, well, now you're losing trust in your following because you're wishy-washy, okay? And they're going to feel like you're going to leave them hanging. Building interest, guys. People aren't always ready when you are. That's back to that going for no kind of thing, that people will say no. But when they continue to see your Facebook, it builds their interest, guys, and they eventually will reach out when they're ready. I promise you guys. For example, I just recently received a message from somebody who's been following me. I mean, she said, Brittany, I've been following you for over 2 years now. And she was finally ready. She was finally ready. Okay, but for 2 years. And I didn't know she was following me for 2 years or anything like that. But they will come when they're ready. So make sure that you're building that interest, and don't think that just because you post something and nobody likes it or nobody comments that people aren't seeing it and taking that seed and planting it in their mind, right? Of somebody they could turn to later. This part of the business right now, when we get into the fall, is a really important time, because anybody who is consistent in August, September, October, November, December, even with the crazy holidays, even with back to school, even with everything, right? Those who are consistent in the latter half of the year are the ones whose businesses blow up in January, because your following remembers that you are that reliable person that has an answer for them, and they're trusting in you because you stayed consistent. And becoming predictable. Guys, it's not like, oh, I just had a challenge group running, so now like, how do I run, like back to back? No, guys, become predictable. Every month there should be a new challenge group starting, right? Just like, it's so funny as a school teacher, but it's a predictable cycle. Like, you teach the same thing in September, and then there's a progression that happens. And then by the end of the school year, you send them off on their merry way, and it's really fun. But then come back to September, it's like Groundhog's Day again. You got to start all over with a brand new group of kids that haven't learned it yet, right? And so the challenge groups, I see them very similar to how I used to teach my students. It's like you got to start back to the top every single time. And so if you're always starting a new challenge group every single month, you're always going to have people in your pipeline. You're always going to have people you're talking to. But if you skip months, or you skip, here or there, it's going to be that much harder. It really is. Even if your groups are small, like even if you have a really small July group and a really small August group, and then September's got a little bit more people, and then October's small again, that's okay. Because at some point they're going to say, okay, I know next month Brittany's going to have another one. And it gives you a reason to follow up, okay? Okay, so let's talk about sharing our story real quick. Why is the top one wrong? Wrong, wrong. Well, I love it because the top one is me, me, me. And you can see that that was coming into the year 2015. And I put a big old link on there, runtoyourhappyplace.com/challenge groups. And I put which program are they going to do? And I put Insanity Max 30 with all the kit and caboodle. I put 21 Day Fix with all the kit and caboodle. And I put 3-day refresh. And the prices are smack dab on it. There's no need for anybody to ask me anything, or it's ugly, it's tacky, it's salesy. I know that I put my face on there and I tried to put a quote. So I A for effort, Britt. Good job, old Brittany. But that is like so no. Don't put stock images up, guys. That is so wrong because there are so many people in network marketing doing that. Okay? You might get a quick sale once in a blue moon on something like that, but longevity in this business and sustainability is not with them. Why is the bottom one more right? Well, it's reflecting the lifestyle, it reflects my progression. I'm showing my personality, and it focuses on what I'm focused on in that time. I can't really read my text right now because it's so tiny, but it's on a blog that I had written. But basically, guys, I'm sharing my journey. I'm sharing what has unfolded in my life, right? And in that blog, when people would then go to it, it shares my story of how I got to that point and maybe how I could help them and how I understand them because I was once in their shoes, right? So sharing your story, guys, and how Beachbody is helping you, just keep it short. If you don't have a story yet, I encourage you to craft it. Figure out how you can start crafting your story so that when people ask you, what is this thing you do or what are these challenge groups, that you have it linked back to you, okay? Your story will be different this year than it is next year. It's going to unfold, and that's part of life. That's the cool thing with this business, is it parallels all that. So my story, in the beginning, my story dealt with like breakups and having to figure out like how to date people again and just stuff like that, right? Color guard used to be a big part of my story. It's not as much anymore. It is in a different component because I call myself the first lady now, but I'm not coaching color guard anymore. So that's not really ingrained in my story today. Depression ended up being a part of my story, and I had to talk through all of that when the timing is right. But Beachbody and how it's helped me, how Inspire Beauty's helped me, how these challenge groups have helped me, how this business has transformed my life is all interwoven in that story. You want your posts to be eye-catching. You want to be able to stop the scroll. Remember that most people on Facebook are mobile users, or Instagram are doing it on their mobile device. So you want to make sure it's something that they're not going to just scroll on past. And pick 5 categories. This is your brand. This is you. For me, I definitely have most of them are F's, but fitness, food, Frankie, Charlie Frost, my family, and talking through, I love cooking, I love wine, things like that, okay? Those are parts of my categories, but pick your categories and cycle through them. I've talked about it before on our calls that I'll go to my Instagram and I'll look and I'll see, oh, hey, I haven't posted a picture of Frankie in a while. My followers want to see Frankie. That's one of my categories. And so I know the next time I go to post, it's going to be Frankie, okay? Ask something of your audience, you guys. So 20% of your posts should be about your fitness and nutrition, but 80% should really just be about your lifestyle and who you are so that people can start relating to you, okay? And ask of them. People love to have their opinion out there on Facebook. So asking people, if they, asking questions like if they would pick this dress versus this dress when you're getting dressed up for a special occasion, or asking your audience's opinion on a TV show that you're really into right now, or I wouldn't go, Frankie, you're so annoying. I wouldn't go the political route or anything, asking your audience anything that might be too, just cause for an argument, right? But asking your audience questions, getting them engaged. And then if you go back and do a little audit, right? Would you follow you based on the last 5 posts that you have? Keep in mind, though, that a mediocre post, guys, is better than nothing at all. So I don't want you to get stuck in analysis paralysis where you're just stuck wanting to, make the perfect post and craft the perfect picture and all this stuff that you don't ever post anything. Okay, so something is better than nothing. But also go back and really dissect those last 5 posts of yours and see, are they actually that great? Would you follow you? And then be willing to change and adapt, guys. And let's talk about this well on the side. In this business, it will feel like you are pumping this well really, really hard, and you're just pumping, pumping, pumping. You're posting, you're doing your workouts, you're drinking your shakes, you're sharing about it, you're inviting people, you're trying to do all this stuff, right? You're reading your personal development, you're getting on team calls, you're in the trainings, pump, pump, pump. Sorry, the Zoom is ready to. Resume share. There we go. Sorry, guys. You're pumping this well super hard and you're doing everything and nothing is coming out. Nothing. And you're like, are you serious? I'm working so hard and nothing's coming out. And that's where a lot of people will quit. Okay. And I can understand why, because society tells us that we work really hard, we should get something immediately in return, right? So I understand that. And then there's other people they'll keep pumping. Despite nothing coming out, they'll say, okay, but Brittany said that something's going to happen. So I'm going to keep pumping. I'm going to keep pumping. And they're really consistent and they pump and they pump and they pump and they try and they try and they try. And then one drop comes out. And then they say, oh, I did all that work for just one stupid drop. That's it. I'm quitting. And a lot of people will quit right there when they first finally see a little bit of success. Maybe one coach signed up. Maybe one challenge pack was sold. Maybe they ran one free group. And they had a little bit of that success, but man, they worked so hard and all they got was that one measly drop. So they quit. But then even more so, other people will pump and they'll pump and they'll pump and they'll pump and they'll just keep going, guys. And then that one drop will turn into 2, it'll turn into 3, it'll turn into 10, it'll turn into a steady stream. And then the bucket will be running over. There will be overflow because you didn't stop. And then, guys, you don't stop pumping, but you don't have to pump with as much effort, okay? So understand that this business is very unlike anything else we do in society. And so it will feel unnatural that you are working so hard for maybe not a lot in return. But if you have a deep gut belief in what you're doing and that it's going to work, and that if you just keep pumping the well, that it'll start running, my friend, it's going to run for you. It really will. So the last slide, guys, being a successful coach is not a destination. It is a journey, just like fitness. There is not going to be an end goal that you hit and then you're like, okay, cool, I'm done. I'm not working out anymore for the rest of my life. It's a journey. So when you sign up for this journey as an Inspire Beauty coach and you want to help people be healthier and happier and have a more fulfilling lifestyle, it's a journey that you're signing up for. So again, a lot of coaches hit a wall where it's like, I haven't reached this destination. So they quit. Well, you'll never reach it then, right? So continue to work through that journey. Continue to work yourself through that journey. Stay in phase 1 of that journey. As leaders, guys, and all of you, I consider all of you who are taking your time out to be watching this, listening to the replay or whatever, a leader. And all the leaders, you're going to want your team to fly. You're going to want your coaches to fly. You're going to want your challengers to fly. But you're also going to want to feel equipped and supported. So there's that healthy balance. Supporting each other on this team, equipping each other with all the tools, which I believe our team does a great job of. But then guess what? Now it's your turn to fly, right? So you had to make that choice. And then a lot of trial and error. This business is a lot of trial and error. I can't tell you how many things I've tried in this business and they were flops. Like, okay, I guess I'm not going to do that one again. Guys, Sean Week was a total flop for me. I don't know about anybody else, but my Sean Week sucked. Like, it was great for me and it was great for a couple of the coaches on our team, but Sean Week stunk. And guess what? That doesn't mean I'll never do. Frankie's totally chewing on the wall right now. Frankie, oh gosh. Okay. That doesn't mean that I'm never going to do Sean Week again. That doesn't mean I'm never going to talk to people again about Sean Week. That doesn't mean I'm never going to run a free group again. What that means is maybe I need to tweak what I did. Maybe it didn't work. Maybe the timing wasn't right. Maybe the platform wasn't right. I don't know. I have to investigate all that, right? But practice, and I hate to say makes perfect, because I had a middle school band director, Mr. Boylan, who actually said practice doesn't make perfect. It makes permanent. Practice makes permanent. Okay, and what does that mean? Well, it means that if you're practicing these phase 1 behaviors, all these things that we just talked about tonight, if you're practicing those every single day, most days of the week, right? Then over time, you're going to make it's going to be permanently ingrained into your behaviors, into your lifestyle, just into the person that you are. And if you're practicing not doing these, then you're permanently ingraining how not to do them day after day after day. So if you're not inviting people, you're practicing not inviting people, you are permanently ingraining how not to invite. If you're practicing how not to run challenge groups, you're permanently ingraining not to run challenge groups, right? But if you're practicing, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be perfect, right? That's why perfect's in quotes. There is no perfect, right? But your practice is going to excel you depending on what you're practicing. So practice the things that are going to move you forward. And being a leader means that you go first, and sometimes you fail first. And guys, I've failed so much on my own, and I continue to fail daily. And it's awesome because all that is a learning experience for me. So I think I did. I made it through it. I'm going to do call to action, and then I'm going to clear this out. Your call to action, guys, is that I dare you. I dare you to be in phase 1 through the end of August and see what happens in your business. And I mean like serious. Do you know what's written in my planner every day? Phase 1 behaviors. Every day. Every day. PD, workout, shape, AM check-ins, power hour, PM check-ins. Those are on my every single day, and then blog or whatever, depending on the day. But those behaviors are on my checklist every day because that's how success happens, is staying in that phase stinking 1. I did it. Okay. I totally did it. Guys, any questions for me? I'm so sorry, and I'm also so thankful that you all hopped back on. That's so cool of you. Questions or anything you want to add? Anyone? No? Okay, cool. Well, I'm dying of thirst from talking for an hour, so I'm going to drink my Shift Shop water. Okay, cool. Guys, thank you so much for being on phase 1. Seriously. Like tonight, again, maybe a lot of gut checks, but in a good way. Take those gut checks and run with them. Don't say, oh, there's so much I'm not doing, or I'm just not. No, find one thing that you can make better immediately and then do that. And then reach out to your upline coach for support so that that person can help you to maybe make a game plan if you're having a hard time doing that. Cool? All right, my friends, have a wonderful evening. I will get both of these recordings up as soon as possible. Bye, guys.